past the divisional round already. It's in our rear view, and we are in the conference championship mode. That Sunday is coming up this week. But let's look back. Let's go through these games. There were eight, now there are four. It actually started on Saturday with the number one seed Baltimore Ravens taking on CJ Stroud and Miko Ryans and the upstart Texans. They beat them 34-10, advanced to the first AFC Championship game at M&T Bank Stadium, first AFC Championship in Baltimore since 1971. Roger, you were there. You can give us your thoughts on the game. I heard it was electric. We talked a little bit about it on the post game, which I know we were all out and about and moving around. So I appreciate everybody watching that post game. We'll be live on Sunday once again after the Ravens and Chiefs, if you don't know. But what did you think about the game, Raj? Lamar, 4 total touchdowns, two in the air, two on the ground. And the defense really only giving up 3 points, but they did have the punt return. The Ravens were locked in, man.
It was locked in. My cousin was there too. Bateman caught all yes, Bateman caught all of his targets. I'm very happy for him. But
One?
yeah, huh? What happened?
Was it one target?
No, I think he had like 3 or 4 targets, but he caught
Okay.
them all. But
Okay.
but anyway, the atmosphere was great. Yes, it was freezing out there, but like I said before, the fans showed up. They was ready to go. Real fan Dan had his shirt off, so you already know what comes, when the shirt is off. It was a lot going on. But yeah, the Ravens started off slow. They didn't. I mean, the defense was great the whole game. Of course, the defense did their thing. Like, I mean, now you can't start off hotter than what they did. But yeah, the Ravens offense started off slow. Lamar Jackson took a lot of hits in that first half. They were blitzing the hell out of him. The Houston Texans were. They adjusted at halftime. All of a sudden, they running the football very, very well, very effectively. Instead of drawing out long passes, they do a lot more short dump offs. And before you know it, the game started getting out of hand. The Ravens started, moving the ball more effectively. And by the fourth quarter, it was over. Like literally, legitimately, it was a wrap. Um, I didn't expect the Texans to win. I did expect them to at least score at least 17 points, but they scored 10, and they really shouldn't have scored that. They should have just scored 3 or 6. But hey, man, it is what it is. They were a rookie team. I really didn't expect much from them, uh, going into the season, but they found their way to the playoffs. They found their way to the divisional round. I give hats off to CJ Stroud and D'Amico Ryans for, you know, being a great, great team throughout the year. And although this is a tough loss for them, it's growing pains, and they only going to learn from it and be better for years to come. But I'm glad that I'm glad Lamar got that monkey off his back, especially since he's been getting ridiculed throughout the year that he only has one playoff win, and 3 losses and all this other nonsense. But it's off of his back. He got the win, and he's going to a place he's never been before, the AFC Championship game. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I'm just happy that they got the victory, man. I'm just happy they got the victory, and I'm glad nobody got hurt. And I definitely want to see what they do next week.
Cavante, how you feeling, man? I know you loved what you saw from your D Ohio State alumni, CJ Stroud and D'Amico Ryans, black head coach, black quarterback, and you love what you're seeing from Lamar Jackson, the presumptive MVP. It's finally looks like like I said, he's quarterbacky enough. All right, is it quarterbacky enough? Is that what it is, Raj?
It's quarter Blacky. That's what it is. It's quarter Blacky.
Okay.
Both of them,
All right.
both CJ Stroud and Lamar Blacky. There you go.
Shout out to Dylan, by the way. I see you last week in wrestling. Make sure you guys check them out. We'll be on there this week as always.
So first things first, shout out to the Texans making it as far as they did, because like Raj was saying, I don't know about y'all, but I thought they will still be top 10, maybe even top 5 pick in the NFL draft. And shout out to D'Amico Ryans, rookie head coach. Shout out to CJ Stroud, the Ohio State rookie quarterback, and shout out to Bobby Slowik, rookie offensive coordinator. So this was bound to happen. I actually thought this would have happened to them last week. Well, I guess the previous week. But it didn't, and it gave them a little bit more hope going into that game. But they were overmatched. The worst draw. Oh gosh, here we go. the the worst draw they could have had was Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens at the bank. But they were overmatched. That was only the best defense in the league. With scoring defense, takeaways, and sacks. So young that's when all their inexperience shows. And that's what happens when your inexperience really shows against experience and veteran players and a veteran team at a championship level team. And there's nothing to hang your head down about. There's no shame in losing to the Baltimore Ravens. After all, they have a great chance at winning the Super Bowl this year. So there's no shame in that. But like Rod said, these are the growing pains that happen. Because I felt like all year, C.J. Stroud didn't have any growing pains. It felt like. So for his real major growing pain to happen in the playoffs of his rookie year, it's huge. It's really huge. And again, D'Amico Ryans, great job, phenomenal job. And Bobby Slowick probably won't even be there next year, which is the crazier thing. But now to the Ravens. Things started off slow. I think that was due to a little rust, and trying to get their feet underneath them, getting acclimated. It was very, very, very cold. Um, the first half, it looked very competitive. I mean, the Texans should have had the lead if they didn't miss that field goal. But the Ravens do what the Ravens do best, which is adjust. And they didn't look back. It's the Texans blitzed Lamar Jackson and the Ravens in the first half, and they blitzed them right back in the second half. And C.J. Stroud and them didn't score another point in the second half, and the Ravens went on to score 24 points, and which turned out being a rout. And the superior team showed that they were the superior team, which is what superior teams do. So I didn't think the Texans were going to win. I thought it was an absolute long shot, but they did well. They had a great season, but the Ravens keep on chug-a-lugging all the way to the AFC Championship, which we said this is the spot where Lamar Jackson needed to get to. Like this is where he absolutely had to get to. But you look around, you really only got 15 in front of you right now. You know what I'm saying? And Lamar Jackson has the better team overall as a whole. But, 15 is going to be 15. We'll get into that a little bit later. But Lamar Jackson, phenomenal game. He just continuously proven that he's the MVP of the league.
Shout out to Rashawn. I know that non-top shelf tequila you had down at the 105.7 casino at Horseshoe might have got to you, brother. Cowboys are done. You're a Ravens fan. We know you was at the game. Can we stop with this narrative that the Ravens are going to blow out the Chiefs? Please stop. Please stop. Stop. It's not going to happen. Okay, it's going to be a close game. like Cravante said, 15 going to do what 15 does. Got the Swifties and all the cultists. I mean, fans that are going to be there with her. They're going to work their magic. Okay, it's not going to be a blowout. Yes, the Ravens have the better team, but that doesn't mean anything with Patrick Mahomes. We saw that yesterday because the Bills had the better team. But I'm gonna just leave that there. We'll get to that in a little bit. But Ravens advance, Texans are on the come up. And honestly, I said this in a video, Cravante, and I'll leave it there. CJ Stroud's already knocking on the door, not only of a top 10 quarterback, but a top 5 quarterback, Cravante. How you feel about that?
I think he's top 10 right now. I ain't going. I think he's top 10 right now. And he's for sure, I would definitely say, knocking on the door of top 5. But I think he's definitely. I don't think there's 10 guys, and we're just talking about this year because obviously he's a rookie. But I don't think you can name 10 guys that was legit better than C.J. Stroud. And another thing is, you got to throw Jordan Love in there too. But I know C.J. Stroud is definitely in the top 10, and he's knocking on the door for top 5. But granted, Burrow really didn't play much this year. Herbert's about to get a new coach. So Aaron Rodgers didn't play. So, you got to take that into account too. But his touchdown to interception ratio was phenomenal, which you don't see out of a rookie quarterback.
The greatest rookie quarterback season of all time. Don't at me, just facts. Nice segue there, Cavante, with Jordan Love, because for the last time this season, we're showing love to Jordan Love as his team is going home. They actually probably should have had a chance to win as
Yeah,
the
they were there.
49ers, the 49ers outlast the Packers by a score of 24-21.
And
Honestly, I thought the Packers were going to win, Raj. We were doing a post game. We saw Aaron Jones running up and down the field. Then we just saw Christian McCaffrey, that bad man, take over. Probably going to finish second in MVP. But like Cavante said, got to show love to Jordan Love. And 49ers find a way to get it done, man.
Yeah, man. They surprised a lot of people this year. Jordan Love surprised a lot of people in the second half of the season. Granted, the first half he was a little shaky. We didn't know if he was going to be the guy for the Packers, but he slowed down, slowed the interception rate down, and just started playing ball. Man, he did his thing throughout the season. But yeah, they had a real chance to win this game on Saturday night, and I think the Packers blew it. I mean, they had them against the ropes. Aaron Jones was running all over them with the fresh legs. But Jordan Love with those turnovers, man, really hurt this team. And Brock Purdy was not great at all, to be honest with you. He looked very pedestrian out there at times, and he did a real disservice for that team. And we already know what happens when they get hurt. Deebo Samuel is a huge part of that offense. And when he left the game, you could tell that they didn't know what the hell to do half the time. But they got by. They got by. And we'll see what happens with this NFC Championship game. This is going to be very interesting. To be honest with you, I think the San Francisco 49ers are wounded like the Philadelphia Eagles right now. And if they don't get their act together, they will be going home before the Super Bowl. But we'll get to that a little later as well. Yeah, the Packers blew it. They had a chance to win. They should have won. But Jordan Love is still green, as D would say. He's very green, and this is his first actual year starting. He'll only learn from it. He'll get better. But you can't throw the ball across your body, man. You can't do that. That's just a no-no into double coverage. You can't do that. You can't do that. And he knows that. And I'm pretty sure he was, yelled at by the coach and by some of his teammates after the game. But like I said before, they had an amazing season. They made it to the divisional game. I didn't even think they would make it that far, but yet they did. And they're only going to get they're a very young team, so they're only going to get better from here. So look out for them for years to come. Jordan Love will be a better quarterback for it. I guarantee you that, and they will be back.
Wante, how you feeling about this game? And do you agree with Roger that the 49ers may be a little bit wounded?
Yes, the 49ers look very beatable. Very, very, very beatable. Now, you see the difference between both number one seeds playing. The Ravens knocked out the rest at halftime. And I feel like it's stuck on the 49ers a little bit more than it should have. And if it wasn't for an inexperienced mistake here and there from Jordan Love, listen, man, the 49ers almost took a crazy L. And it's funny because the Packers never beat the 49ers, at least not under Aaron Rodgers. And wouldn't it have been crazy if Jordan Love found a way to beat the 49ers in the playoffs and Aaron Rodgers over in New York looking goofy? That would have been crazy. But a mixture of inexperience and a little bit of luck for the 49ers. But you need that. You need a little bit of that to be a champion. You need a little luck, need some talent, and need a little sprinkle of some vets. But definitely a sprinkle of luck. And I think the 49ers got away with one. Now, I tell you this right now. They mess around and play like that against the Lions mess around and smack them. I say that right now. And to Roger's point, Purdy looked very average. Like he looked like Mr. Irrelevant. That's how Purdy looked in that game. It's like wasn't making any eye popping plays. But something that's interesting for the 49ers to have all these weapons, as soon as they lose one guy, it's like it falls apart. Like, do they not still have Kittle, Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey? But Debo leaves and things fall apart. Trent Williams leaves, things fall apart. Now, I'm just saying an example from like early this year. Because honestly, I think Trent Williams is the most important piece on that offense. But he leaves, they go on a 3-game losing streak. Debo leaves, and the offense goes down the hole. I'm confused. They have too many weapons for them to lose one guy, and then they fall apart. That's kind of weird, especially from a Kyle Shanahan coach team. But Jordan Love had his touchdown to interception ratio is pretty damn good too. And if y'all remember from last week, his game against the Cowboys and C.J. Stroud's game against the Browns looked very similar, damn near identical. So they both did very well for their first outing and first year as full-time starters, make it to the playoffs and winning their first game. And both was in very impressive fashion. So it looks like Jordan Love is and will be the guy moving forward with the Packers. And the interesting thing about Jordan Love is that he's going to have to get paid soon. And we haven't talked about that yet, but we'll get into that probably in the offseason. Excuse me, but they have to pay him pretty soon, and he chose a great year to have a great year, huh?
Yes, we'll get into that. Let's bring in the man himself, the Flex on Messiah, the man who entered at number one and outlast 29 other men in main event WrestleMania, the Flex Zone Tribal Chief, proud of the Eastside Savior of Misbehavior, Mr. Boston Hard University, the man who can outlast the cold, my boy, the super producer, Mr. Drizzy Dre,
Lie
Mr.
again,
Morris
Byron. Lie
University.
again. Lie again, yo.
Drizzy Dre, how you feeling, brother? I know you were driving on Saturday night. We appreciate you joining us, but we wanted to get your thoughts on the Ravens, brother, for those who didn't see it. And it's 49ers Packers talk, man. Jordan Love, did the 49ers almost choke it away? I mean, how you feeling, brother?
Hey, I'm feeling good. Hey, Cavante, man. Look, I'm so ice cold, man. They said I could have been an alpha, but instead I chose to be a kappa, man. So,
Are you capping?
I'm from East Baltimore, man. I don't have a cap on that. But man, great to join y'all as always, especially after a Ravens victory, man, because that first half was very scary. But Lamar apparently just told the team, "Look, shut up. I'm gonna put on the cape and we gonna go to town." So he did his thing, and I'm so proud of that brother. But the story's not finished. So one game at a time, people. I'm not sitting over here and gonna say like the Ravens are going to the Super Bowl or nothing. We have to get past the Tribal Chiefs. Ravens, excellent game. Cravante, I heard him talking about the Packers. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Jordan Love may have one more year, maybe. I think they can pick up like his 5th-year option before they.
Yeah, so this was year 3. He has 2 more because he was a first-round pick.
So they got a little time, but I mean the Packers. I mean after this season, I don't really see a real drop off, and the fact that not only did he win a playoff game, against the Dallas Cowboys, on the road, number 2 seed, that's the number 7 seed, and outballed Dak Prescott. He damn near outballed Brock Purdy if it wasn't for that
He
late game
did. He
drive.
did. He did,
I
bro.
mean, he pulled one out his ass, but Brock Purdy, he was able to pull away that drive, but the Packers should have won that football game. Um, so they're going to be a formidable team for years to come. I know we're talking about the Lions and how it's like the Lions division, but that boy Jordan Love, man, he keep playing like that, it's going to still be the Packers division. So we'll see what happens. The 49ers, though, I mean, I know we haven't done our picks yet, and they're coming, but man, I'm not as confident in this 49ers team as I was going into the playoffs. I don't know if it was the 0-3 slump that Purdy had when like Cravante was saying that when he misses his pieces, this whole thing just goes down. I'm not sure if it's that. I'm not sure if it's he just may not be the guy. He's a good quarterback. I'm not going to sit over here and cast aspersions and say that um, he's not a franchise quarterback. But I'm saying that uh, he may not be who we thought he was, and maybe it's just because of the rookie year that he had. But and I mean, he's doing good to lead the 49ers to back-to-back NFC Championship games. But sometimes, just like the Bills have to answer a question about not necessarily their quarterback, but the guy to put them to get them over the hump. The 49ers, it's going to remain to be seen. Yes, it's good to get to the NFC Championship game, but now it's like a matter of getting to the Super Bowl. The Bills, their story is going to be about should they replace their head coach. Now you got the quarterback, but do you replace the head coach because he may not be the coach to get you over the hump?
Yep.
And it's one thing to beat Patrick Mahomes in the regular season, which and hey, Lamar's got to answer this question too on Sunday. It's one thing to beat this man in the regular season, but Joe Burrow has beaten this man in the playoffs. And it's different when you beat this man in the playoffs as opposed to the regular season. And it's not to say it doesn't count. It's not to say it doesn't build momentum. It's just different. We all know it's just different in the playoffs. So I think that's not only a headline, but it's also a real question to ask. Um, I'm not going to get to the logistics about salary cap and all those things, but those things will take care of itself. But that's a real question to come upon when you're talking about these games, because to me, I was the only one to pick Buffalo. Everyone else on this team, y'all picked the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll be honest, when I was watching the game last night, I said um, I forgot their running back's name, but if he doesn't fumble, I said that the game was over. And they were like, everybody where I was at, they was like, no, it's plenty of time on the clock. I was like, no, y'all don't understand. This game is over. Like I was like, if he scores, and he damn near scored, and the Bills caught a huge break about that fumble in the end zone, and now they're talking about changing the rule about the fumble in the end zone. Yeah, I'm like, look, it's been a rule all this time. Why are y'all trying to change now? But nevertheless, um, that it's just sometimes you just see in sports where it's just like some plays just happen, and it's gut wrenching to the team, and I think that was that moment if he had scored. So Buffalo got lucky with that, but then ended up still losing the football game. I was like, look, I said Josh Allen knows when I think because they were down 3 at that point. I said Josh Allen knows you have to keep scoring. You can't waste a drive at all against the Chiefs. If they score, you got to score too. You got to match it. You can't sit over there and take your foot off the gas at all. So I know that that was the game of the game of the week. Everybody's talking about it because these are the two big name quarterbacks. But I think people were sleeping on that Lions and Bucks game as well. I thought that was a really good game. I know the Ravens blew out the Texans, but at least the first half was really good. And then that 49ers and Packers game was also really good as well. So at least these games are different from what we had a week ago when they were just straight blowouts and unwatchable at a point. I think that these games were a lot better because you saw these were better teams out there. But you see young emerging stars like Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud. So I'm curious to see not only these guys in their sophomore year, but also some of these rookies to come in because now C.J. Stroud has set a precedent, and technically Jordan Love has too, because Jordan Love, this is technically a rookie year, a full rookie season for him. Granted, he may be like a veteran because he's set behind the great Aaron Rodgers, but it's still a rookie season for him because he has not had, I think he's only played in like one, maybe two games prior. So to have a full rookie season and to be able to take your team to the playoffs, CJ Stroud with with a rookie head coach, rookie quarterback in there, and you guys go to the playoffs within your first year, very impressive. So now, and we'll talk about the draft and all that for later down the road. But I'm just saying how. This has got these new crops of quarterbacks coming in. They have a new standard to uphold.
Well, let's get to your biting kneecaps real quick. Let's continue to go down.
You can clip that whole thing, Byron, if you want. You can clip that whole soliloquy that Dre did. That was like 10 minutes right there. But anyway, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, we had the Lions. They defeated the Buccaneers 31-23. And like Dre said, it was a very entertaining game. How you feel about the Lions, Raj? I know Dre loves biting kneecaps.
Damn right.
I like kneecap biting as well, but the Lions, I'm happy for them. I really am. I truly am happy for that organization. I'm happy for the players. I'm happy for Jared Goff, who was left behind and put in Detroit after his time with the LA Rams. After taking them to the Super Bowl, they left him for dead and traded him for Matt Stafford. So I'm happy for him. He has a chance to get to his another Super Bowl with Detroit if they can pull off the win against the 49ers. I thought it was beautiful, man. I thought it was beautiful. Then the locker room celebration. Well, not really a celebration, but the locker room speech that Dan Campbell gave to the players. I thought that was well. Hats off to him. Hats off to him. The Buccaneers. I did not have this team be in a situation either. I thought Baker Mayfield was in over his head, but all throughout the season, he just kept fighting and fighting and fighting, and he brought them to the playoffs.
Playoffs.
He playoffs. Yes, he did his thing. He had a couple turnovers here and there as well, but Baker, did his thing out there. Mike Evans was a beast. Todd Bowles is a good coach, man. When he's not coaching the Jets, we sing. So yeah, man. I mean, I'm happy for Detroit that they won, but I'm also happy for the Buccaneers that they, after losing Tom Brady, that they didn't just fall off and become a lottery team. They fought all the way and made it to the postseason. And so I think Baker Mayfield may be back. He should be coming back. And the Lions are in a prime position to make it to a Super Bowl if they can, get past the 49ers on Sunday.
First time in 32 years, and another quarterback that's going to have to get paid is Baker Mayfield, Gravante.
Wow. Never would have thought. As y'all know, I was not a Baker Mayfield guy. I was not high on him. I thought he was very, very much overrated since the beginning. Like, I felt like he was the number one pick in a relatively weak draft class, and I thought he benefited greatly from that. Now, granted, he did have a Heisman Trophy, and Heisman season, but I didn't think he was as hyped as he was to be. And granted, I was right pretty much all the way up until snap, he goes to the Bucks and they win the division, and they beat the Eagles. Oh snap, Baker Mayfield is one thing he's always been though is a fighter, and he's gonna put his all into it. Now, how he puts his all into it depends on it depends on what's your flavor and what you like, because he's a boaster, he's a trash talker, and he gets in your face. And that's what he does. Win, lose, no matter how you slice it, that's what he does, and that's how he gets down. But you look at his backstory, you see why. He walked on at OU. I mean, he walked on here. He walked on at OU. He became the starter, Heisman Trophy winner with Lincoln Riley. Baker Mayfield legit got out the mud. So I respect where he come from. I just didn't think he was that great of a quarterback. And this year he proved that he's good. He's not as bad as I thought. And like Rod said, after Tom Brady, we thought it was up. Tampa Bay thought it was up from here. And as trash as the NFC South was, we knew 3 of them teams were probably going to be lottery picks. And the one team that win the division is probably going to get the 19th overall pick. You know what I'm saying? And no, they did it. They did. They just, did enough to win a division because the Saints did win their game at the end, but the Bucks, I believe, had a tiebreaker, if I'm not mistaken. And they host the Eagles and beat a very wounded, beatable Eagles team. So that was a great, great win for them. And Baker Mayfield deserves a lot of credit for the success of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Raj also said this, shout out to Todd Bowles, coaching the hell out that defense. Because remember, Byron, last year and even the years when Tom Brady was there, secondary was kind of iffy. It kind of could go either way. But they got some. They're vets now, got some experience under them, and they play really well. But now injury bug hit them a little bit, and going into, dare I say, they went into a hostile environment in Detroit, and at what's that, Ford Field, and my gosh, the Lions crowd was crazy. Just, I'm so happy for them because, man, the Lions have been one of the worst teams in recent memory. And for them, that matter of fact, the last time they went, the Washington team / Redskins / football team / Commanders won the Super Bowl. That's who we beat in the NFC Championship, was the Lions, en route to go into I believe that was our 3rd Super Bowl. Well, no, the 3rd Super Bowl to win. I believe that was our 5th in appearances. But the Lions ain't been there since 91. 91. Byron, where you at, baby?
Wasn't even thought of it.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, that was quite
Crazy.
some time ago. And the Lions had a 0-16 season. Dan Campbell was on that team. So it's only fitting that he be the guy, he be the coach to help them take it to new heights. And now they're in the NFC Championship. Crazy to think that the Lions, who would have thought at the beginning of the year that the Lions be one of the 4 best teams in the league? Because that's essentially, you in the NFC you in a championship game. Essentially, this is the Final Four. You know what I'm saying? But big ups to them. Oh, my bad, Dre. I know you had a crystal ball over there, baby.
I believe in the kneecap biter.
And the Lions were good. Lions, and I picked them to win the division this year, but NFC Championship is crazy. Because, we had the Eagles and the 49ers. That was my pick for the championship game. But the Eagles went down a spiral staircase, and the Cowboys did what Cowboys do. So them getting in the NFC Championship, that's big for the city of Detroit. That's big for the organization, for the Lions, and that's big for Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell deserves a ton of credit for his coaching that he's done with this team. And shout out to Golf for bouncing back after his stint with the LA Rams, trading them with Stafford, and him showing them like, yo, I still got something. I still got something left in the tank that's worth looking into. And Dan Campbell said, I don't care. We're going to go. So, and shout out to Amon St. Brown. Amon St. Brown has got to be one of the most consistent wide receivers when it comes to scoring. He finds his way into that damn end zone. Trust me, Byron, I want to bet. He finds his way into that damn end zone one way or another.
Blue hair and all, right? Looking like the blue meanie.
Hey, yo. Karate don't know about the blue meanie, man.
But yeah, Lions did phenomenal. When I saw they pulled the Bucks, I was like, they got a chance to go to the NFC Championship, and this is huge for the city, huge for the team. And dare I say it, they got a chance, man. They got a puncher's chance in against the 49ers. They do, and I think the 49ers are favored by, I believe, 6.5 points, Byron, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, I'm put the house on the Lions. Go ahead, put
I'm
the
gonna
house
say,
on the Lions.
if y'all betting people, I take the Lions with the points.
Yeah. Real quick,
Bite some kneecaps this weekend, baby. Bite some kneecaps.
just a little nugget. You look at that NFC North, and Roger alluded to it. Look at the Lions. Look at the Packers, and I'll throw the Bears in there. They can hit on a couple of these draft picks, and Justin Fields or Caleb Williams, whoever they decide to go with. That NFC North is going to be very, very interesting for years to come with those three teams. I think Minnesota, they got a lot to figure out, but those other three teams, and the NFC is usually wide open every year, guys. We see teams that aren't supposed to be there sneak in. Those three teams, three historic franchises, are on the rise. Like I said, I'm putting this out there now. I think the Bears are going to bounce back next year. I think the Packers are, like you guys said, are rising, and the Lions are. They can probably win the Super Bowl in the next couple of years if they keep this team together. Mm-hmm. You look at that Jared Goff trade. We laughed at it. We scoffed at it. They turned Jared Goff. Not only did they turn Matthew Stafford into Jared Goff, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, and all those other pieces that you saw on yesterday.
Aiden Hutchinson, man, in the draft that they got. Yeah.
Yep.
St. Brown.
Yep. Got the hometown kid, Aiden Hutchinson. Yep. Hometown kid.
Shout out to them. Shout out to the ownership group, Miss Ford, who took over, put Dan Campbell in the position and stayed the course. So it looked like they got something good going there as well. Let's get to the main event. This was the game that was most anticipated, and Dre, you kind of alluded to it. I mean, the Chiefs, everybody except you did pick the Chiefs. They win 27-24. The Bills missed the field goal. Their kicker was 9 for 9 at the time with game-winning, game-time field goals. But once they showed that stat, I literally looked over and said, he's about to miss this kick. What does he do?
Happens every time, man.
That's how it works, yo. That's how it goes.
Every time, man. They did that with the damn 49ers. Oh, Kyle Shanahan is 0 for 30. They about to win.
Yeah, so
0 for 30, they're going to win now.
Chiefs get it
0
done.
0 for 30. I was like, come on, y'all.
27-24. The second half, that defense kind of shut down the Bills. I can't put it all on Josh Allen. His weapons were Stephon Diggs. He got to go because his ass talked too much to be playing like this. I'm sorry. He ain't doing nothing to be talking like that. But Raj, how you feeling about this game, man? How you feel about Josh Allen? Can we stop with the narrative that he's better than Lamar? Where do the Bills go from here? Do they fire their head coach?
Let me just say this. It was refreshing to hear First Take give Josh Allen that Lamar Jackson treatment. It was very refreshing this morning. A lot of yelling, a lot of goofiness. But to be honest with you, it really wasn't his fault. And I'm usually never saying that because a lot of the games were this fault this year. But this particular game, I thought he played pretty well. He had 3 total touchdowns, a lot of drop passes. Stephon Diggs had a wide open touchdown pass that he dropped.
Sure did.
And a couple other people dropped balls during the way as well. But the field goal kicker, like everyone said, left them down at the end. We already know how that goes in Baltimore. We've seen it before. The Bills just laid an egg, man. They really did. They had the advantage. They had the weapons. And they played right into the Chiefs' hands at the end. Of course, Patrick Mahomes was pretty good, as always. Pacheco almost had 100 yards. Travis Kelce had 2 touchdowns, 75 yards. And, the others stepped up as well. Valdez, Scantlin, and Rice both made some key catches.
Kadarius Toney, inactive.
Kadarius Toney did his thing as well at home. So, I mean, if you give the Chiefs any chance to beat you, they're going to beat you. And the Buffalo Bills are known for just losing to them in the clutch moments. And this is no different. Even in their own home, they lose to them. So is a sucky way to go out. I don't really blame the coach. I can't really blame the coach. You can't. I mean, drop balls is drop balls. Missed field goals is missed field goals.
I do. I blame him.
I was about to say, yeah. I blame the coach too.
I blame him.
Okay. Well, y'all can make your argument for it. But drop balls is drop balls. Missed field goals is missed field goals. And they always come up, small in the clutch. It is what it is. If he ends up getting fired, so be it. There are plenty of candidates out there. If I'm them, fire his ass now and go get Bill Belichick. Go get somebody of substance over there.
Ultimate betrayal, huh? Go right down the road.
Ultimate betrayal. Go get him. if he's still out there, go get him. But
pull a Rex Ryan, huh?
Yes. But either way, Tribal Chief gets another one, and the Bills do the
just
same.
Like the real Tribal Chief. Just when you think he's about to lose, he somehow finds a way to win.
It's just somehow Solo comes out there, or Jimmy comes out. Somebody comes out there and he bail him out.
Somebody.
And at this point, the field goal kicker turned into, I guess, Solo. But it is what it is.
Cravante,
no, don't do that to Solo.
You blaming the coach. You blaming the coach, man. I like McDermott though. I do think he's a good coach. But these Bills, man. I know we talk about the Cowboys and their inefficiency to get things done. The Bills. You think about the last 4 years, they would have probably favored to get to the Super Bowl. One of the teams we thought lose to the Chiefs, lose to the Chiefs, lose to the Bengals, lose to the Chiefs again.
This is what happens when I think this is that defensive minded head coach thing that I don't like along with the elite level quarterback. He does not have the authority, nor has anybody on his coaching staff, because Ken Dorsey's no longer there. Shout out to Joe Brady. Joe Brady called a hell of a game. Mm-hmm. The interim offensive coordinator. Joe Brady called a hell of a game. And
that was a nice chess match, Cravante, because Steve Spagnuolo, he's great. And that's what scares me a little bit about Sunday. And let's not forget, Steve Spagnuolo was the DC with the Patriots. I mean, when the Giants, when they beat the Patriots. So he's had Brady's number for years.
So, so that was a great chess match between Spags and Joe Brady. And what an amazing name to have, Joe Brady. You got 2 all-time great quarterbacks. But anyway, it looks like he will have that. He should have that offensive coordinator position full time next year. But there's nobody to reel Josh Allen in when he being goofy. Because I tell y'all, Josh Allen, even though this is not all his fault, he does deserve blame. He missed a lot of going for the home run when it's right here in front of you. He missed a lot of them.
You talking about that throw? You talking about that throw in the end zone when he was just a little touch short on it?
Yes, Stephon Diggs was actually wide open, but that happened a whole lot. And Josh Allen, being the gunslinger that he is, always goes for. He prefers the home run as opposed to the base hit, or as opposed to the double. And there's nobody to keep him online like, hey, go short. This is the Chiefs. Let's keep it going. We don't have to go for the home run. We don't want Patrick Mahomes to have the ball anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's better off that we keep the ball anyway. But there's nobody to reel him in. I feel like an offensive-minded guy, maybe a offensive-minded head coach, offensive coordinator background, QB, tight end, whatever, can reel him in. There's nobody to reel in Josh Allen. Josh Allen can pretty much do whatever the hell he wants because at the end of the day, it'll be Sean McDermott to get up out of here. I think the Bills have hit their ceiling, and I feel like we said this previously, Dre, about the window. And it's crazy because they still was very close to getting to, and they did not play great this year, but they still was very close. They was a play or two away from getting back to the AFC Championship. But it's something to be said about keep continuously getting to the same spot over and over and over again. And you just can't get over the hump. Something has to change because now you're going to have to mess around and pay Josh Allen again. And now what? Von Miller, how many more years you think Von Miller got?
So they got
None.
that. They got
None.
the contract.
None.
He's done.
None. He's
They
done.
got that contract. He got what, Byron? Like 4 more years on that contract. I think
Yeah,
it was like
it's
5
crazy.
years, 100 million or something.
Yeah, I'll get the contract details, but go ahead.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? Like Von Miller was the missing piece on that defense. He was the missing piece last year, and I believe that he got hurt towards the end of last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Man, he got hurt.
He got hurt, came back this year, got arrested, and yeah, that was
it. Anyway,
got hurt and arrested. What the?
He doesn't look. Yep. Because he was like, "Yo, you got hurt, and you're not supporting the team. You out here being goofy." Yeah. I remember. Von Miller does not have the same burst, and that's again a little long in the tooth. You know what I'm saying? It's been almost 10 years since he won a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So he's taking a step back. Tre'Davious White, can he stay healthy? The Bills have a lot of questions they have to answer. A bright spot was James Cook this year. Stephon Diggs leaving a lot to be desired. For him to be as elite as he is, Byron,
trade him.
Does
now.
not.
Yeah.
He does not show up. He does not show up in big games. He just does not. And listen, y'all already know how I feel. And I've said this. I said this back in the off season when they was going through their whatever spat or whatever's going on. When a wide receiver is disgruntled, it's never a good thing. Remember AJ Brown? AJ Brown, the Eagles. I mean AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts. They had a little thing and they try to gloss over it. Nah, it's a problem. When your star wide receiver is disgruntled, it's never a good thing. That's a very, very hard thing to overcome, especially when he's a part of the focal point of your offense. Because number one thing about wide receiver, they always think they open. Ask Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase nicknamed himself 7-Eleven because he always open. You know what I'm saying? But that's how elite wide receivers think. Give me the ball, throw the ball to me, and I'm gonna come down with it, and I'm gonna make a play. But Jamar Chase, in his short career, has had big games in big situations. He comes big way more often than not. And Stephon Diggs, again, for that window for the Bills, it was open for a little bit. It was probably open for what, a solid 3 years? And nothing. We had nothing to show for it. Now, granted, it's no shame in losing to Patrick Mahomes. But like Byron said earlier, y'all had the better team.
Real quick, Dre, before I know you touched on it a little bit, I just want to get your thoughts because you also agree with the McDermott firing before we get to these coaching news and championship games. Thank you guys for joining us again. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Von Miller in 2022 signed a 6-year, $120 million contract, and he still has 4 more years, but after this season, they can get rid of him, but they will still owe him $52 million and over $15 million of dead cap money.
What they about to do? They about to do a Russell Wilson?
I don't
Cut
know,
him,
Dre.
but then you still got to pay him.
But I'm trading Stephon Diggs as soon as I can. I'm getting all I can get for him.
You know what? I think unanimously we're saying that because we were saying that. I think, as soon as they said there was issues between them two, yeah, he had to get traded. And honestly, it dated even back
Send him to
to
Dallas with his brother. Send him to
in the
Dallas with his brother, Dre.
Mhm.
Use that money. Go get you a T. Higgins or somebody. Go get you a T. Higgins or somebody that's going to be a free agent and
Word,
rebuild.
word, word.
Don't deal
Yeah,
with the bull job.
because in the off season, they hadn't talked until like they started preseason. Like, I'm like, come on, that's an issue when your quarterback and your wide receiver um aren't talking, and then your brother gets on social media who plays in the NFL talking about my brother's got to go. Like you said, I mean, get him up out of there. I mean, Stephon Diggs, he did have big games when he was in Minnesota, but because I think he's the one who caught that touchdown pass against the Saints in the win.
It happens miracle.
So I mean, he's capable, but I think it's just kind of like the
He
Bills
fit
just
right
built
in Dallas, Dre. You know it. He fit right
the
in. He put up a lot
he
of stats with CD and they'll lose in the playoffs. You know it.
yeah, he would. Him, Michael Parsons, all
Yeah,
them,
his
yeah.
brother, put all of them together. Just go ahead and trade
Uh,
him. I might do a video on that. Just go ahead and send him to Dallas. They'll love him.
and but honestly,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
send
do
Stephon,
it for Rashawn.
you send
I will.
Stephon
I
Diggs
will.
though over there. He's just going to be the number 2 receiver. CD Lamb has proved, like, bro, this is my team.
Yeah,
Like,
nah, he's
I'd be
here.
like, bro, like you can't be number 1. Like, you would have
He's
to like humble yourself. Um, but I mean, we're talking about the Bills with Stephon Diggs, but what about that window, like you were saying, Karate? You hate to say it's over with a great quarterback like that, but sometimes it just the reality of the situation. I mean, your own division, you have the Dolphins, you have the Jets. We don't know how the Jets would have looked with Aaron Rodgers. So that's 2 teams right there within your own division that you have to battle. The AFC is just strong. We seen that this year with I mean, hell, our division, the AFC North, could have had 4 teams go in had Burrow not got injured. So I mean, and then we're not even talking about the Chiefs division with the Chargers. The Broncos are iffy about their quarterback situation. The Raiders now they have their coach. They just need a quarterback in there. So the AFC is just going to get harder and harder to go through, and the Bills just kind of lucked up to catch lightning at a good time. But there was some real question marks when we were unsure about whether or not the Buffalo Bills would even make the playoffs. And then the fact that you have this record against you're 0-3 against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, that's very troubling. The fact that it's like they wanted, a lot of the times we were teasing last week about the riding that's going on when they talk about Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. It's just like the new Brady, Peyton Manning. But if Josh Allen wants to break that hold, he's got to eventually beat him. And I remember the year when Peyton Manning finally beat Tom Brady in the playoffs. That's when I was like, yeah, I know that this is it. He's gonna get his Super Bowl finally. So there's a lot of question marks, like you said, Karate. We think a lot about getting an offensive minded coach in there because a defensive minded head coach has not apparently worked for you guys, and there were question marks about their head coach anyway. So this might be a time. Um, don't be like the Eagles, don't be like the Cowboys, and keep running it back, and it's just not working. Sometimes a change just needs to happen, and I think that it may be real time to question whether or not you do that, because you're, like you said, Byron, you're going to eventually have to pay Josh Allen again. You got questions about Stephon Diggs. There were questions about the offense, and now you brought in the offensive coordinator Joe Brady to come in. So it's still some iffy thing, and then the defense too. Von Miller is just not the only issue. They got some issues right there within the like linebacker position, and the corners that they have to also figure out too. So there's some question marks with the Bills moving forward, and you don't want to be in a position where your window is already closed, because there are other the conference is just so hard to break out of.
Whew. Well, let us know. Thank you, guys. Go ahead, Monte.
yo, I forgot what the guy's name. He plays linebacker. He was one of the best in the league. He got hurt.
Matt Milano.
They were depleted injury wise.
That is a little hurdle that they had to get through. But it was Josh Allen or bust anyway. But there's no checks and balances with this guy. I mean, look, interim Joe Brady was calling from the box. There's no checks and balances for him.
But it was balanced, I think, when they had Gable, when he before he moved to the Giants. He seemed to be
exactly.
He seemed to be able to hold them like together,
accountable. Yes, that was his best year, and he leaves, and Josh Allen regrets like that. That happens when you lose a key coordinator like that.
Look at the Eagles.
Exactly, and they lost both of them, and you see how things unraveled so fast in Philly. Nick Sirianni's head was spinning. He told his defensive coordinator he took his play calling duties from him and gave him to Matt Patricia.
Goofy.
What are we talking about here?
In the middle of the season too.
Like, what are we talking about?
Goofy.
But also, the Eagles as a team, let me say, at least as an offense, took a step back. Like, that tush push got played out real quick.
That's because they kept relying on that dumbness. I'm like, yo, this is the NFL. Eventually, just like the Wildcat, when people was like, oh, the Wildcat's unstoppable. This is the NFL. Eventually, they gonna figure out how to stop it.
Yep.
And when Tampa Bay stopped it, I was like, yeah, this game is over.
And also shout out to the Chiefs. It's funny because in Patrick Mahomes' earlier years, it was like him and the wide receivers, and it was like the defense is subpar, running game is like, we get it when we need it. Now Pacheco running the ball like mini Mike out there, and can't be stopped. The wide receivers have took a step back, and the defense is elite now. What has happened? It's like everybody did a 180, and Patrick Mahomes like, Kadarius Toney can't catch a cold. But shout out to Rice. Rice is he looks like the number one receiver. Travis Kelce.
What I tell y'all last week? I told y'all last week, Rice.
Indeed. And Travis Kelce finally caught a touchdown pass. He hasn't caught a touchdown pass in about 2 months. So it's good to see he's back. And of course, Isaiah Pacheco is bringing some much needed toughness out of that run game. So it's like Patrick Mahomes doesn't have to do it all on his own.
Oh, but there is a wide receiver though who I don't know how helpful he'll be, but some eyes will be looked at him. Mike Evans. I know that Stephon Diggs ain't getting traded to the Chiefs, but Mike Evans is going to be available out there. So they got to decide to pay him or let him walk. So
I think Godwin also, Dre. Both of their receivers actually.
Wow.
Both of their receivers. Yeah, both of them might be available. Godwin too, because I think last year they kept him.
As long as he's not trying to hit nobody over the head with the on the pay side, because the Chiefs not gonna overpay nobody. Like they paid Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill wanted more money. They're like, no. Like they're not gonna overpay at the wide receiver position. So if it's a decent amount, they'll bring him in.
Let's get to these coaches.